Welcome to Redzone Lab Podcast with Duece Blackney. I'm Adrian Blackney, his daughter. Thank you for tuning in today's episode. We talk about the first day of free agency with Brandon Creek and John Matthews. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Redzone the Lab, and don't forget to hit the notification button. Thank you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Welcome back. This is Redzone in the Lab podcast. This is Duece Blackney. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please hit your notifications. But today is day one of the 2022 NFL free agency. Today and tomorrow is the legal tampering period. It started at 12 noon today when teams can actually start talking to agents about their players. And we had a lot of moves today. We had players moving teams. We had players resigning to their current teams. We had players being released. A lot happening today. Deshaun Watson is still out there. So far, he's reported to he's going to talk to the Saints and to Carolina. We have Jacksonville, the Jaguars. I mean, they came in big today. They came in spending big money. They have day one on paper on the all season, but can it translate? So that's what Brandon Creek is going to come on and talk to us about the Jaguars and what it means about the players that they signed. And then we're going to bring on John Matthews. He's going to talk to us about the signings today, have a connection to the Washington Commanders, as far as Chase Edmonds, the deal that he got. How does that work out for J.D. McKissic? They had similar numbers, but J.D. McKissic is 3 years older. Christian Kirk, the deal that he got with the Jaguars, how does that affect Terry McLaurin's deal? Brandon Sheriff leaving and free. How does that affect the offensive line? So John Matthews, he's going to come and join us, and he's going to give us his take on how that affects the Washington Commanders. And we have more free agency news to share. If you didn't get to or you didn't see the signings at the end of the podcast, we're going to have them posted here for you to kind of look at. But yeah, man, I'm excited. This is our first free agency podcast. Especially, we're going to be doing this all week around 6:30. We're going to try to drop it out that night, just recapping that day's moves as we're doing today. We're going to have in a few guests to kind of talk about their take, their opinions on what happened that day. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for listening. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to Redzone in the Lab with Duece.
Welcome back to Redzone in the Lab podcast. As promised, Brandon Creek is here. He's going to talk to us about NFL free agency and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, like they got in, they had that debacle last year with Urban Meyer. That was just a disaster, man. I mean, Trevor Lawrence came in there. The guy ain't lose a game since junior high school or ever, and he just lost as much games, and it was a mess. But they kind of cleaned it up a little bit. They got in Doug Peterson, and today, I mean, they came in free agency and they spending big money, whether it's deserved or not. They added some pieces, and right before we came on, they added Evan Ingram from the Giants, tight end. So like just looking at the deals from the day, which ones stand out to you the most?
What are you doing? And not because it's a hometown move, but Brandon Sheriff. I mean, you got a lot invested in Trevor Lawrence. He's supposed to be your face of your franchise, your future. Why not have a Pro Bowl to protect him? I mean, all the other little additions were good. I mean, I honestly don't have a problem with the move they made. I mean, they're spending like they got monopoly money, but to me, that's the best move.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the offensive line. You know, they need to shore that offensive line up. Trevor Lawrence, he's the franchise quarterback. They have to protect him, and then that's the offense. So, what about on the defensive side of the ball? They bring in Foley for Toski, 3 years, $30 million. What's your take on him and how he's going to show up this defensive front?
I think that, to be honest with you, I think that's a bargain deal because I don't think people realize the real animal in him. He has a skill set, and there's nothing extravagant, but that desire to get there, to get home. That says a lot about a guy. And if you show that kind of guy the money and show him you believe in him, he'll run through a brick wall for you.
And then they got somebody behind him. Linebacker Foye Oluokun. He was one of the guys that the Commanders was looking at from Miami that they wanted to kind of look at and kind of bring in and talk to. But, you know, what does he show from? I'm sorry, not from Miami, from Atlanta. You know, he showed out last year. What do you think that's going to do for the Jacksonville defense?
If they can stay healthy, that could be a nice little punch there because one thing about him, he's a lot like the other guy we just spoke. He's hungry. He's energetic. He has a motor, but he's known for getting home. See, there's a big difference there. And with that, along with someone else who's just as hungry and feeds off of that, if they can get those two guys in sync, they might have the start of something that defense.
Yeah, man, it's starting to look good. But on the offensive side of the ball, they bring in Christian Kirk. Yeah, and I think it's with incentives is a chance to get the $84 million, and that makes him if he get the 84, that makes him the third highest paid receiver. So you look at that deal and his production from last year. DeAndre Hopkins, when DeAndre Hopkins went out, AJ Green was out. I didn't see Christian Kirk. Right. So do you think that this deal warrants it? Because what it does do, it looks at Chris Godwin and Devontae Adams, even Terry McLaurin. They looking at this like, oh wow, he's getting this. So when it comes to the Jaguars, do you think that was a desperate move? Because it seems like they was kind of in battle with the Cardinals. Do you think this was like a desperate move, and do you think that he'll actually help Trevor Lawrence?
I think he'll help Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think he should be the end all be all if you're trying to get weapons at receiver. Okay. I mean, honestly, if you look at his stats last year, when healthy, he was a force to be reckoned with. He was good opposite in the slot, but I think they definitely overpaid for him. I don't think he was 72 to 84 million good. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? He's a slot. Realistically, he's a slot, and that's not to knock the position, but
yeah. So when Doug Peterson, and I'm quite sure they're going to add. I mean, they added Evan Ingram, and I know they kind of added him late. To me, he didn't really produce in New York, you know, as much as they kind of anticipate him to. But Doug Peterson has a history with tight ends. Do you think he's able to kind of resurrect his career down in Jacksonville?
I think if he can avoid the injury, bro, that's been his thing. I'll be honest with you. I like to call him Jordan Reed 2.0. All the potential in the world, he can't stay on the field. If you can keep him healthy, he's definitely going to work out good for their offense, especially with a young quarterback who's used to winning, but coming to the league taking lumps. Now I got a reliable shorthand guy who's going to be there, drop him the ball in trouble, 3rd and 7. I know I can dump it to him and pick up that 7+, whatever. So I think, I think it's a good piece. Good pick up. I think on paper looks good, and if they can stay healthy and get these guys right, I think it'll take over. I respect Peterson as a coach, but they got a long way to go and a lot of work to do.
Yeah, man. But where them girls at? Let us see those girls.
Oh, no, they would have tearing it up. Ray.
Hey, them young commanders. Them young commanders. All right. Thank you, Brandon, for joining. Brandon Creek, man. Cuzzo, I love you, man. Thanks for joining. I get with you, man. All right. Bye.
You know what it is.
Hi, I'm Christian Miles, native Washingtonian and real estate agent servicing the Washington metropolitan area. I started my career as an investor and later transitioned to the residential side. I really wanted to leave the investor side because I wanted to connect with people. Building relationships is important to me. I understand the buying and selling process can be challenging. I get it. I've been there. I'm a mom, wife, friend, and neighbor. I absolutely love helping families and connecting with people. Going through the home buying and selling process is stressful enough. When working with me, I make it fun. As a realtor, I think it's important to be able to connect with you. Every detail is important, no matter how small. Let me take care of the heavy lifting while you focus on the joys of finding a new home. Something I live by, people may not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. With me, it's an experience.
Welcome back to Redzone in the Lab with Duece.
All right, we back. Redzone in the Lab podcast again. Thank you for listening. But Unc is back. Unc is back in the building. Like I told y'all, he's back in the building, man. And man, yeah, it's all good, man. So NFL free agency, day one, legal tampering period. Let's talk about a few signings that affects the Washington Commanders. They didn't sign these guys, but they do have guys on the roster that's unrestricted, and they have someone that's coming up on the last year of their deal that it will affect. So Chase Edmonds signed to the Miami Dolphins, 2 year, $12.6 million, 6.1 million guaranteed. So JD McKissic is our guy, right? They had sort of the same numbers, but McKissic is a little older. He's 3 years older than Chase Edmonds. How does that affect our negotiations with JD McKissic? Does it make it better? It gives us a starting point. You think he's going to get more or less?
Less.
Mm-hmm.
NFL, unless you're a great, age matters. It's a young man's game. So, and that's just what it is. And with him being hurt, I would love to have JD McKissic back.
Mm-hmm.
But with him being hurt, Chase Edmonds don't have the injury history JD McKissic has. JD McKissic is special, no joke. He's been on a couple teams before us. He's special when he gets the ball in his hands.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember that 4th down play last season. It was like, yo, he got that on the tip all the way. He blew it up. And it was like, yeah, we got something. He's something special. But those guys, I hate to say it, lack of a better, the way the league is going, you got Curtis Samuels on your team. You got a Terry McLaurin. Why overspend for that? Just go draft you a running back because just like somebody drafting him. You can draft him, why pay him? Because it's one thing, if he was 23, 24, 25, yeah. Like Chase Edmonds. Because you can see a future there. He's fine for what he is, but we haven't seen Curtis Samuels. They call him Prince Henry or whoever he is. Like the dude is not there, but there. But like I would love to see this offense with somebody that comes out the backfield that does certain things. You can kind of make certain assertions there. Like, but I'm not paying no more than what you would pay. I'll leave it there.
And do you want someone that basically mirrors him, right? Because he does everything, or he has done everything that you would want a third down back to do. He can pass block, he can run routes from out the backfield from the slot, and he can run the ball. Yeah,
that's true. But once again, you can draft that guy, Deion.
No. That's what I'm saying. But when you draft a guy, you want him to have those same similar traits as JD McKissic. You don't need JD McKissic, but you want someone that has those similar traits.
The league is kind of going towards, and I think LaDainian Tomlinson and Marshall Faulk was those guys, and Roger Craig was probably, not to go too far down memory lane for the listeners, but those guys that did both very, very, very well. And I may be missing a couple here and there, but out the backfield, catching passes, running routes like receivers. Edgerrin James was like another guy. Ran like a running back, caught like a receiver. It's weird. It's like, yo, where they find these people at? And those guys come. J.D. McKissick isn't on their level.
Just now, DeMarcus Lawrence re-signed back to the Cowboys, 3 years, $30 million, fully guaranteed. He's the first defensive player that had 8 straight years of guaranteed money on this deal. Tim Settle to Buffalo, 2-year deal to Buffalo.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I think, okay, so Brandon Sheriff left, he went to Jacksonville, right? I'm still curious because the numbers haven't come out yet, right? I'm still curious of what
they got a lot of money. They got a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm quite sure what the numbers for him is going to look like. But how does that affect our offensive line losing Brandon Sheriff?
It don't. It doesn't. He was never how do I say it? Did not offend or like despise him in any kind of way or like make him feel bad. Like, because it's not. He got drafted high because he was a tackle in school. So he couldn't, his arms were too short. And he couldn't block to save his life at left tackle. They drafted him, tried to put him at left guard. Didn't work. But they put him at the right guard, he was fine. Nope. Unless you Quentin Nelson, them type of, like, he wasn't them. You gave him and then to think about money and paying people, the one word I like to say, and I don't count nobody's money. I don't count nobody's pockets. That's not what I'm trying to. Results. The NFL is a results business. Most businesses, when somebody's compensating you primarily on your performance and then on the team, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, we come a time, but what do we win with you? So why am I going to give you the same money that anybody can demand? Because you look at that, you can't name the right guard for the Chiefs. You can't name the right guard for the Rams. You couldn't name the right guard for the Bengals. You couldn't name the right, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that made it. So why I got to pay Brandon Sheriff? We've been sitting at home.
He got a massive deal, unwarranted. I don't know, the Jaguars are doing their thing, spending tons of money. He's kind of set the wide receiver market, and he's a third down receiver. When DeAndre Hopkins went out, when AJ Green was nowhere to be found, Christian Kirk was nowhere to be found either. No, but they gave him money like he was a number one receiver. The money that he got. What does that mean for Terry McLaurin? What is that contract going to look like for Terry McLaurin?
Well, what you would garner for Terry McLaurin versus a Christian Kirk, they base that money off potential and hope. And you and I know hope springs eternal, but potential gets you fired in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can always want to hope something and be all right, but potential gets you fired in the hopes that this person may pan out and be Terry McLaurin for your team, right? Terry McLaurin is a doggone good receiver. I can put it in words. He's physical. He's fast. He's smart. He's football smart, and then he's just a good man off the field, a good young player, and you can tell how he's a good leader. So you're not giving, you wouldn't even disrespect Terry McLaurin with nothing less than a 5-6 year deal, something fully guaranteed, but like a lot of bread, because he deserves it. And it has to be incentive laden, of course, but you'll guarantee him enough to say, look, Terry, we want you here. We're gonna give you a Darryl Green, like that type of deal, where you just, we hope you'll play the rest of your career here, because like it or not, Terry, you might not be Randy Moss or Jerry Rice, but we're gonna treat you and pay you like you're our Jerry Rice, and that's what the commanders need to that's what, as fans, need to understand. So you need to value your players and the people that you brought up and drafted. So with him, it's like Christian Kirk. I don't think they don't even run together. Terry McLaurin did it. This guy, the Jaguars you have a threshold of money you need to spend. You got all those guys on rookie deals, and they cut half their good players. And, half the other guys not going to re-sign anyway. Right. So it's like one of those things where you gotta spend money, and if somebody willing to come to you, guess what? Okay, somebody say, Deion, we're gonna take you to Jacksonville. You wouldn't even take a vacation to Jacksonville.
Right.
I'm just being honest. So if somebody say, hey, you gonna come play, well, show me the money.
Right.
You ride Tidwell and them all day. Man, show me the money, man. I come, but I think it was a short deal. Yeah, short term. These people Jacksonville is not an ideal spot to do anything. I visited a couple times. It's cold. It's actually cold like everything else. It's not. It can get cold. It can get cool. It's not like Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Orlando. It's a little different. And so I get it. But yeah, I mean, they're not even in the same sentence like most things. Wait, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, and with that deal, I think it's at 18 per, but he also has incentives each year that can take it up to like 22 or something like that. Where does the Terry deal start at? And then the franchise tag for like Devontae Adams is at 20 million. So where does Terry deal start at?
5 years. I'm gonna give you his deal. If I was the football team, you would do a 5-year deal where you'll guarantee him $100 million.
Okay.
We're not gonna pay you for what we think you're gonna do. We kind of paying for what you already done.
Yeah. And how bad we've treated you.
Or how bad it's been since you've been here. And that's why I said we're gonna treat like we value you. See, that's the thing that people don't understand in all walks, in all things, sports in general, life in general, how to value the next person, where you place your value at. And if somebody's special, I'm not, if anybody you deem special, in this case it's for football and sports, he's been special. You pay him, like you alluded to earlier, where you brought up. This Christian Kirk didn't show. Nobody know him. I mean, you play with him on Madden, you fast. I mean, I'm not being funny, but in real life, it's like, yeah. See, I saw, like you said, you paying him based on what the hopes. You giving him a Randall L deal. You get out. We're gonna pay you, but you better play for it. That lets you know the direction that's heading. It's just you don't. But they gotta do what they gotta do in Jacksonville. That does it have any? Yeah, it get Terry a lot of money. If that kid can get this kind of money, you gotta pay Terry. But Terry was guaranteed over time.
Yeah,
he wants people like that. A guy that's that mature and that understands the idea of saying, look, I'd rather know where I'm gonna play at for the next 5 years. Yeah, it's the one guy you drafted third. He's underpaid for his production. That's it. So you need to pay him for that. I leave it there.
Appreciate that, man. That's John Matthews. Second, that's Unc. Appreciate you for coming on, man. See you tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow, bro.
I bet. Redzone and Lad podcast. This is Deion Duece Blackney, John Matthews. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Take care.
All right, bet.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just coming to you all. Just wanted to share these amazing Tava products with you all that has helped me drop 60 pounds over a year and a half. So look, I'm going to start out with our flagship product, which is our Fascia Detox Tea. When I tell you it's amazing, it's going to clean out your upper and your lower intestines. And also, Fascia stands for empty in Spanish. That's the first part. Now we have Violate 30, which is vitamin and liquid energy for 30 days. Now, once you detox, it's going to take out good and a bad. So this right here is going to put everything good back in your body, all the nutrients you need. Now, this here is a flare. The flare will definitely get you there. It has no caffeines, no sugars. You will not have jitters. It's all natural, and it gives you great energy. Last but not least, we have our CBD infused coffee, Caprice. Colombian blend. It helps keep you calm. Does not have any caffeines or sugars. It's all natural. Chaga mushrooms and Garcinia gambodia, which is good for memory. So if you want to try any of these amazing products, all you have to do is reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook at Van Thomas, or Instagram at Van_the Detox Man. If you want to reach out, just hit me. I'll gladly get back to you. Peace.
Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Duece.
I really want to talk about the Chargers. I think the Chargers are taking the Rams approach. I think they're going all in. They showing up the defense. They run defense has some issues. They brought in for that defense. They brought in Khalil Mack to go on the opposite side of Joey Bosa. No, Khalil Mack hasn't been producing as much this last couple of years. I mean, injuries, and then the Bears were terrible. You don't know if he actually put that effort in to really, stay on the field. But he's coming over to the Chargers. Yeah, Joey Bosa on the other side. So a lot of that double teaming, they're going to really have to, take it, give an account for Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So I think both of them is going to really show up that pass rush. It's going to really show up that run defense with those two guys out there. And then they signed the interception king, J.C. Jackson from the Patriots. So you got him, Asante Samuel Jr., and you got Derwin James locking up the backside of that defense. I mean, these Chargers, they are looking good. They looking like they ready to make a run. They got Herbert still on this rookie deal. I think they ready. I think that's one of the teams that's going to come out of the West. I think they're going to make the playoffs, depending on where. I don't really like to predict past the playoffs, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. And when we get there, we'll look at, how the year went. We'll look at the injuries that's going to be affecting each team. Of course, there are always injuries, so I don't like really make a lot of predictions past the playoffs before the season start. But just them showing up this defense, I think they are really looking to make a impact. I think they're taking a Rams approach and bringing these guys in while their quarterback's still on a rookie deal. And now they just a few minutes ago, they signed Austin Johnson from the Giants. He's someone else that they add on that D-line, So I think the Chargers is a team to look out for. Again, we thank you for joining. We're going to be back all week, given that today's recap. But please subscribe to Redzone in the Lab YouTube. Subscribe, hit that notification so when things pop up, you'll be able to get it. Thank you for joining Redzone in the Lab podcast. This is Duece Blackney. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Thank you for listening to Redzone in the Lab podcast. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Redzone in the Lab. And you can download our podcast at Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean. And please visit our website at redzoneinthelab.com. Thank you.